What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be making a short little video about motorcycle mods. I'm going to break it down into 3 categories. First category is going to be rider experience. Second is going to be cosmetic, and third is going to be more like maintenance items. First on the list for first category for rider experience is going to be adjustable levers. Adjustable levers make a huge difference in your riding capabilities and the rider experience. Sometimes people get shorter levers, but adjustable ones that have multiple settings like these are great. They, allow you to have a better clutch feel, get a feel of where you like your clutch to engage. Personally, I like mine being right off the bar, so mine engages about right there, but these are adjustable all the way until about here. So you have this much room to adjust your clutch grab. So fantastic. Same thing with the brake, same brake levers. Got these from Hotbodies Racing. Second thing on the list is going to be a double bubble windscreen. If you ride a sport bike or a super sport bike, having that wind go over your face and not into your face is a huge advantage to your riding experience. It sucks when you're riding at 70-80 miles per hour and you're just getting absolutely blasted in the face with wind. This one is a Puig Racing black screen. It was about $90 off of RevZilla. It's not a terribly expensive mod. The levers were like $150 for the pair. They're great quality, awesome products. So yeah, that made a huge difference. Once I got this, wind goes right over your head. It's fantastic. Definitely one of the mods I would highly recommend if you don't like getting blasted with wind and you ride a sport bike. Third one would be exhaust. A slip-on exhaust will do just fine. I have the Hotbodies Racing MGP on here. Gives it a good growl, deep sound. It doesn't sound raspy. For a parallel twin 500cc, it sounds pretty good. I have a full system on here. I have catless headers all the way back to a slip-on exhaust, so I have a full system, no cat, no muffler, just a straight up full straight through system. But the MGP gives it some great sound and really enhances your riding experience. And the reason I have a full system, I live in Maryland and people are extremely unattentive and constantly distracted on their phones. So when they hear this, they hear you coming. It may only be a 500cc, but putting the right exhaust system on here definitely gives it a lot of sound. So that's pretty much it for functionality mods and rider experience. Oh, tank pads. Definitely recommend tank pads if you ride any bike, hyper naked, naked bike, sport bike, anything that you need some good grip where your foot pegs are not in front of you, like on Harleys, Indians, those cruiser bikes. Tank pads are a massive advantage to your riding experience. When your legs are able to grip here, it keeps pressure off your hands up here, so your elbows and your hands are not hurting when you're taking those corners, and it allows you to not slide forward and backwards on the seat, on your tank, all kinds of stuff like that. So it definitely helps. It gives you a lot more confidence if you like doing wheelies and you don't stand. Being able to grip the tank and keep your center of balance towards the front or towards the middle and not throw your weight back and not feel like you're going to slide off the bike when you're in a wheelie. These are amazing. I do the occasional wheelie every once in a while, sometimes a little more often than I should. But these tank pads, after I got these on here, I've been getting wheelies much higher, being able to practice a lot more, feeling a lot more confident, a lot more safe doing so. They definitely help you get some really good grip on that tank, keeps you from sliding around, and they are awesome. These are tech spec tank pads. Got these off of I think I got these off of RevZilla. These are about $90 as well for the pair. It also comes with a center tank pad. I didn't put the one on there from tech spec because I already have the Honda Racing one from the factory, and it's carbon fiber, so why would I take it off? Second category we're gonna be jumping into cosmetics. Mirrors are kind of a functionality, more of a cosmetic thing. I didn't like the big bug eye mirrors that stick out way out here. They create a lot of wind turbulence. They're kind of loud, depending on how fast you go, and they do have a great field of view, but I didn't like the way the front of my motorcycle looked with them on there. Excuse the planes flying over. I live by the airport. The mirrors are more of a cosmetic thing to me. They do function, but when I'm riding and I have my hand here, I can't really see over my wrist. This is kind of my view, so I kind of have to tuck my wrist down to be able to see the mirror. So it's more of a cosmetic look thing than it is a functionality thing. If you are going to do them and you're very hypersensitive about, you know, being able to see behind you so you don't get rear-ended, being hyper aware of your surroundings, find mirrors that are going to work for you well, that you're going to have good field of view and you're going to feel comfortable with. I got these off of Amazon because, you know, bar end mirrors you don't want to spend a bajillion dollars on, because, you know, if you drop your bike, this is a beginner bike, 500cc. If you drop this bike, I've had my brothers drop this bike, a friend drop my bike. These are the first things that break when they hit the ground. So paying, you know, $150, $200 for a set of bar end mirrors, if it's a beginner bike, I wouldn't recommend it. You're just gonna be, you know, paying out that ass for them. So just get a cheap pair off of Amazon. Make sure they fit well. These are nice and snug. I have had issues with them, but it's just adjustability and tightening them down real good. Second thing on the item list for cosmetics, fender eliminator kits. These things are amazing. They make the back end of your bike look very clean, very tidy, keeps everything up. Certain states, Maryland in specific, will not allow you to have this. I have been pulled over for having a fender eliminator kit. Luckily I received warnings because I am respectful towards the police and not a total dick. You know, they'll point out like fender eliminator kits are illegal, not having reflectors on the sides are illegal, stuff like that. I removed my reflectors because I didn't like them. They're big giant orange knobs that look stupid, and the bike's loud and it has all the lights you need, so, you know, don't really care for them. They do, you know, they do require tag lights in most states, but fender eliminator really tidies up the back end so you don't have that big honking piece of plastic that hangs off the back here. Hondas have giant ones that I think are just absolutely absurd, and they look like garbage. So fender eliminator kit, like 25 bucks. If you go to like Cycle Gear, you can get really nice ones for your like 2020 Honda CBRs that have the that automatically fit in your stock taillights. These had halogens. I replaced all of them with LEDs, and a TST hyper flash relay. So I have all LED turn signals and lights. So fender eliminator kit looks great, especially on these bikes. Really tidies up that back end. You know, bridging into turn signals and lights. Cosmetics, they're more of a cosmetic thing than functionality, unless your halogen ones are not bright and you want them to be able to be seen better. I got these from Cycle Gear. They're like 15 bucks for a set. I have flush mount turn signals for the front. I got these off of TST Industries, where I got the hyper flash relay. If you cannot find a relay and your bike comes stock with halogen bulbs, TST Industries sells a great product that you can adjust the flash cycle for how many flashes per minute it is. I have mine set at the stock 85 flashes per minute, so they're regularly flashing bulbs. But if you have halogens and you switch them over to LEDs, they're going to hyper flash. If you don't like it, like I didn't like it, you can always get the relay. It's 25 bucks, ships within like 4 days. Super easy thing to do. Tank comes up, just lift the tank back a little bit. It's right under here for these bikes. But yeah, got the flush mount in here, and with the LEDs, turn signals, and they look good. So definitely recommend those if you like that as well. The flush mount turn signals look great. Just be aware of the fact that from the front, unless it's nighttime and you can see them on the ground, you're not gonna be able to see them from the front. So cars are not gonna know where you're turning unless you have the ones that stick out. So just be aware of that when you go to buy those, that you're losing some sort of functionality for looks and safety. So just keep that in mind, that cars are not always gonna be able to anticipate where you're going if they can't see what way your turn signals are flashing. So I think that's it for cosmetics. You know, and let phone mount. Some people do, you know, quick release tank fuel caps, stuff like that. You can do those as well. Next item on the list, next category really, is your maintenance items, common maintenance things that just really improve your rider experience and the overall look and feel of your motorcycle. Tires, Tires are a massive improvement to your ride. If you have the shitty Dunlops that like I did when they came on this bike, you know, they drop off here, you don't have a lot of sidewall to work with. The tire is more of a flat sport touring tire than it is more of a sport bike or super sport tire. I never liked my Dunlops. They sucked in my opinion. They constantly slipped up. So then I ended up going with Michelin. I think I went with the Road Pilots. I can't remember what they were. They were Michelins. They were a sport bike tire. Those, once I got about 4,000 or 5,000 miles into them, a little towards the end of the range, but they still had a good amount of tread left on them. They started to slip and give out in corners under heavy acceleration, heavy cornering. They would slip. I actually laid it down one time because of the fact that my tire slipped, and I wasn't even anywhere near maxing out the edge of the tire. I was probably about right here on this tire where these Pirellis are on the Michelins, and the bike washed out. I'll see if I can go back and find what tires I had specifically and put them in the description. But I upgraded to I spent the extra couple dollars, got the Pirelli Diablo Rosso 2s on here, extra amount of tire on the side, very thin sidewall, so you have a lot more tire surface, so you can lean a lot farther. These tires, yes, I do have the chicken strips here. After I lay my bike down with the shitty Michelins, you know, it kind of removes a level of confidence in your tires when you have stuff like that happen. So this side, I'm a little more comfortable on the left side than I am the right side. But point being, the Pirellis, I've got about 3,000 or 4,000 miles on these. They still have plenty of tread left, and they're super sticky. They warm up fast. They're an overall great tire. The Rosso 3s are also very good. The Rosso Corsas are very good if you're willing to spend that extra money for a really sticky, more track enthused tire. This is more of a sport road tire because it's got some tread in it for water. But I love these tires. I recommend these to anybody who's looking to get new tires for a sport bike. Pirelli Rosso 2s or 3s. They are great tires. Next on maintenance items, brake pads. A lot of people really overlook these. They don't realize that if you get a better, higher end material brake pad, especially if you ride fast and you do cornering a lot and you heat up your brakes very regularly, a brake pad that grips better when it's hot is one that you want to get. I have, they're called sintered brake pads. They're kind of like ceramic for cars, but I have those on the front and rear of this bike, and they bite hard. When they start to get warm, the whole bike will either drop, like the front end will drop way down when you hit the brakes. And they're great, you know, they provide a great amount of braking. Fantastic little mod. 25 bucks for a set of pads, front and rear. 50 bucks all around. Simple stuff, just to really improve your experience. Another maintenance item is a chain and sprockets. I have a EK chain on here with Vortex front and rear sprockets. Factory sizes, nothing crazy. They don't really make crazy different size sprockets for the 500 class sport bikes because they're not very common. So, you know, I think it's 41 tooth and a 14 tooth in the front, or it might be 1542. Pretty sure it's 1441 right now. But, you know, the sprockets just, they look way better than the stock ones. Color match red chain, which I gotta clean it, it's a little dirty. But color match chain, black sprockets. You can't see the one up there obviously, but you know, it's a great thing to have, just to, you know, having a fresh chain, fresh set of sprockets, you know, really just gives you that little extra level of peace of mind knowing that your stuff's good if it's fresh and new. So that's pretty much all I have for the motorcycle. I don't really have anything else. If you want to do functionality, little extra thing you can do is frame sliders. If you're worried about scratching up your fairings and stuff like that, if you have an expensive bike, frame sliders are relatively inexpensive for the amount if you consider replacing fairings and parts. They're usually like $200 to $400 for a decent set of frame sliders for a sport bike. You know, if you're really worried about stuff like that, get frame sliders. It's worth it. They don't look too bad. They usually stick out just a little bit more than the fairing does. They're not very noticeable unless you get real chunky ones. So other than that, that's everything for the bike. Just a little extra subcategory here that I was thinking about while I'm doing this. is helmet mods. You know, your helmet's the thing you wear on your head. It's the one thing you constantly have on every time you ride. If you don't ride with a helmet, you're an idiot. And you're just asking, you know, eat shit. Great thing to have on these. Something cheap, tinted visor. Just keep in mind that if you ride at night, don't get a tinted visor and not have a clear one as a spare with you, or get a transition visor, one that when the sun hits it, it changes to dark, so it's like a sunglass versus a clear glass, so at night you can see. During the day it dims, so it blocks out the sun. I have an orange tinted visor. I don't really ride at night, especially right now. It's February. It gets in the 30s at night. It's about 57 degrees right now, so it's a good time to go out and ride. But I have an orange tinted visor. I can see right through it during the day. Great at blocking the sun. Definitely worth the 40 bucks that it was, and fits the helmet great. Looks good with the red too. Another thing, these are really more optional if you like listening to music while you ride. I have the Cardo Pack Talk Edge. Definitely a great sound system. I love it. I've had it on here for about 6 months now. A friend of mine had one and he said, hey man, try this out. So I wore his helmet because we wear the same size, and I loved it. So they're a little bit expensive. The Cardo Pack Talk Edge runs you about $389. Whether you get it off of a website or from a Cycle Gear, they carry them, and they also install them in your helmet for you. So you can go to your local Cycle Gear, pick one of these up, and have them installed in your helmet for free. It's a great system. JBL speakers inside. My system goes about 1 or 2 weeks on a single charge, for riding about 3 hours at a time. If I ride 3 hours every day for 2 weeks, it'll be dead by the end of the 2 weeks. So great system, definitely worth the money if you like listening to your music while you ride. I would say they also have different kinds. If you're not willing to spend that amount of money on a system, they have different lower tier systems you can get and put in your helmets. Other than that, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my little list of mods that I have done to this, stuff that I recommend. There's tons of other videos on YouTube you can find. Yami Noob has a really good one about 10, I think it's 10 beginner motorcycle mods that don't look tacky, because a lot of people do tacky mods, like have really crappy hanging mirrors, straight pipe exhausts, you know, stuff like that that just kind of looks tacky. So check out Yami Noob's video too. He's got a really good video on motorcycle mods. He does a lot more in-depth stuff because he's got a lot more